to the Neil Haley Show on the Total Celebrity segment. I'm excited to welcome the program from NBC's America's Got Talent, Season 12 winner, Darci-Lynne. Darci, thanks for calling, and it must have been the most crazy week of your life after Wednesday last week, right?
Oh, yes.
I mean,
it has definitely been a roller coaster. The night I won, I didn't even get that much sleep. I was, up all night. I saw my friends. It was just crazy.
Yeah, crazy, and then doing all these cool, fun shows and calling people and meet and greets. You probably still think it seems like it just happened yesterday. Am I right?
Oh, yeah. It's been so much fun, so much fun.
All right, so let's kind of go down and talk about specifically the audition process for you. When you auditioned for America's Got Talent, the decision why you did this, what was the reason for it?
Well, it's definitely always been, something I've wanted to do on my bucket list. And also, I just really wanted to go out there, and I wanted to inspire other people to do ventriloquism and just to keep it alive. And I feel like I've definitely achieved that goal because I've seen so many people around the world doing ventriloquism because of me, and it makes me feel super confident and super happy.
Exactly, but the ventriloquism you do is unlike anything else I've ever seen in my life. When I heard you won, I've been watching some of America's Got Talent, but then I watched you on Ellen, and my mouth dropped. My jaw dropped. I said,
Thank you so much.
How did she do this? And that's what you have to explain to our listeners. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people ask me that, and honestly, I don't know how to explain it. I mean, I know how to do it, but I don't know how to explain it. It's hard. It's kind of hard to explain. But, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it's something when you think about things, Darci, that when you start to perform, then you change the whole routine. And then you're able to control the singing so that you sound like this amazing singer. Is there anyone else in the world that can do what you do? I don't think there is.
There definitely is. There's Terry Fader and Jeff Dunham. They are definitely amazing ventriloquists, and they're definitely some of my idols. I look up to them. And, there are lots of people who can do what I do. But I mean, it's not common. But there are some people who can do it.
Well, I think meaning the singing too. I mean, when did you start singing, by the way, Darci, yourself? How old when you started?
I started singing when I was 6. Because I was always good. My mom taught me how to sing, and I was just a singer before I started ventriloquism, and now I'm the singing ventriloquist.
Absolutely, and you're both. You're a singer and a ventriloquist for sure. Now, when you auditioned, did you think that you would make it all the way? Because I think this year was probably the best talented year of America's Got Talent in any season, with so many amazing acts, so many talented people, the best in their fields. Did you think when you first went to audition that you would win it all?
Oh, my goodness, no. I went into the competition and auditioned with really low expectations. All I wanted was the judges in America to like me and just to have at least 4 yeses to get to the next round. But, getting the golden buzzer was yet amazing, but winning it's just been crazy. I never imagined it.
Never imagined it. Okay, so let's go right now. What's really cool is coming up is already auditions are going to begin in November, and to give tips for people November 5th in Orlando, Florida. What tips would you give them when they go to audition? I think that's the big thing. You got to wow the first people, and I've learned so many of the stories of how you get involved in the audition process. it's not that easy, right? You don't go in front of the main judges. You go through this process. So what recommendations would you offer people that are going to audition?
I would definitely say just be yourself and don't worry about America or the judges liking you. Just be yourself and just go out there and go for it because, what are the odds you could get into the judges round and you could maybe win it. I mean, I did it and I didn't even imagine it. You could definitely be the next America's Got Talent Season 13 winner.
Wow, and don't get nervous, right? That's the process. So when you show up at auditions, what do they do first? It's pretty much you go in a line, right? And then they tell you it's your turn, right? So that people can kind of understand when they get there.
Yes.
Cool, awesome. Well, I know that's exciting. And then Vegas. Are you pumped up? First shows sold out November 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And the 4th and the final show added November 5th. And you can go to agtvegas.com to purchase tickets for the shows that are not sold out. Are you excited about Vegas?
Oh, my gosh. I am so excited. I'm so pumped for Vegas. It's going to be such a great show. Angelica's going to be there. Preacher's going to be there. Light Balance. And I'm just, oh, my gosh, I cannot wait. I cannot.
So let's talk about specifically that final night, the live finale. I watched that, and I thought it was fantastic, bringing out both of your puppets and the way you're able to, your stage presence is amazing for your age. I'm absolutely blown away. How did you prepare for that final?
Well, it was definitely my trickiest performance. I only had a couple days to practice it, and I just was really hoping it went well, and I'm really glad it did. It was such a fun performance because I definitely stepped on my game a lot with two puppets because I'm going back and forth, and my brain's going crazy.
So with all this time, the audition, the whole process of America's Got Talent, now are you ready? Are you homeschooled or are you going back to school? What's happening next after?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I go to a public school, yes. And I just got back to school Monday. So, yeah.
How did that feel when you went back to your school? How did the school respond from winning and all that stuff? They were pretty excited, weren't they?
My school has been so excited for me, and they've just really been supportive. They've gone with the flow, sent me all my work while I was gone, and told me not to worry and focus on my performance. They've just been so go with the flow with me in my crazy life. But, it's just I'm so glad to be back.
Well, it sounds like you're glad to be back. How long was this process of going back and forth for auditions and things like that all the way to the finals? How many months did that take of your time and stuff and effort? It's been about...
It's almost been...
We were gone. It's like a 2-month process.
It's almost a year.
Well, I mean, are you asking if it's a live show or the whole thing?
Well, from my audition to the live shows, or just from my audition?
Yeah. I auditioned. I guess pretty much when it was every week on the show was on. It's been about 2-3 months. Process.
I auditioned in November to see if I would get on the show, and it's almost been a year because it's almost November.
Wow. And how have you been able to stay focused? Because I always bring that education portion back to it, Darci. How are you able to stay focused with school and with your career? Because that's going to be an interesting thing now. Being the winner of America's Got Talent, now you're going to be headlining lots of places, not just Las Vegas, but you're going to be traveling all over the place. How are you going to be able to balance school and your talent?
I'm just going to take it step by step and bring my work everywhere I go, and just get it done, and come back to school when I come back.
You know what I was always really impressed that I'm reading your story is that you're in a pretty big family. You have siblings. So how have they responded to this, of your big run in America's Got Talent? Yeah.
My brothers are definitely super duper proud of me. They're so excited that I won. And I mean, I think they're all a little jealous of the money, but they're really excited for me.
Well, fantastic. So the last question is, for somebody who wants to get into what you do, what is your recommendation to learn about ventriloquism? What recommendation should somebody that wants to try your art?
I would just say do it, even if somebody tells you no or you can't. Just do it anyways. It's fun, and just show whoever told you no that you can do it, and something big might happen, and you never know.
You never know, and exactly. And you're very humble. Your singing is just unbelievable, and what talent!
Thank you.
And going on Ellen and all those things. It's a whirlwind. And good luck in Vegas. Best place we can find information on you and follow you and stuff. Where can we go? Where's your Twitter and all that for people to check you out?
You can go to my social media accounts, Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, and they're all the same. It's at ITS darci-lynne, so it's darci-lynne. And then you can either go, or you can also go to my website, darci-lynne.com.
All right, well, Darci, best of luck. Great story. Everyone definitely has to go to agtvegas.com to see you live. And it's not too late to audition for America's Got Talent, so everyone needs to go ahead and find out that information so that they can go ahead and audition. But thanks again for calling, and thanks for taking the time in your busy schedule to come on the show. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Take care. Thanks. All right. See you later. Bye-bye. You're listening to the Neil Haley Show, and we'll be back in just.
We're back to the Neil Haley Show on the Total Celebrity segment, and I'm excited to welcome the program from HBC Speechless, Cedric-Yarbrough. Cedric, thanks for calling. How are you, man?
Oh, good morning. I'm well. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. And I wanted to talk about this show and how amazing this show is, especially how it highlights a special needs student and how the family is able to deal with it and deal with the outside environment with it. I think it's such a breath of fresh air, and a lot of my families, I also own a tutoring and consulting company, talk about specifically enough the process of just having a show that they really can relate to. Cedric, isn't that true?
It's hey, you took a lot of the words right out of my mouth, man. It's an amazing show. It's groundbreaking, and to have an actor who actually has cerebral palsy, who actually has special needs, on the show is a rarity. There's very small depictation of having characters with a disability, and to actually have the actor who have the disability working on the show is true find. It's very different, and but it's an aspect of the show, but it's not the main focus of the show. The main focus of the show is to really make a really funny show that people really enjoy and can relate to, even in its differences. And so that's our main goal of the show. And I think people are really tuning in just to watch. They've fallen in love with these characters, and they just like laughing.
And Cedric, it's the family life that we see. Because we're not just focusing on one of the characters, we're focusing on the entire family and how they're able to deal with the challenges of life that we all, Cedric, deal with in life and family life. So it's not like, okay, we're jumping it's great that there's a character like this. However, it's awesome in the fact that we can relate to this family so much, and specifically ways they tell it like it is in certain ways.
Yeah, it's true. It's I mean, all of us, if you do have kids, you know that your kids are wonderful, and you also know that your kids are jerks sometimes. So we show that with a kid with cerebral palsy who is a typical teenager who loves girls and is cheating on his schoolwork, and also is a great brother and friend. But then you also you run into the other kids on the show. That our middle son is also a nerd and know-it-all, but also really fun and fun-loving. And then we have the youngest daughter on the show who's extremely smart, an athlete, but also gets into her little troubles as well, and also with the parents. And so I think people are really tuning in because first it's different and it's something that you've never seen before, but even in its differences, you see a lot of similarities to your family. We all have kids and parents, and then that neighbor that also loves our kids just as much as we do, and so that's the character that I play, and so people are really enjoying it, which I'm thrilled with. I'm having such a good time with working on the show, but the outreach and the things that people are saying to me just on the street are pretty cool.
Oh, they're definitely cool, and that's really cool. Yeah. And let's kind of go into your character, because I have watched the show, and I really enjoy the show. The fact that you are JJ's helper, and you help navigate him through specific things. So tell me specifically how that preparation for that character, and how it's a different character than you're used to playing in certain ways. Even though you have your comedic end of it, it's a little different.
Yeah, definitely. When I got the role, or when I first read the script and first read the role, I was really drawn to it because it was nothing like that I'd ever done before. I'm used to doing a lot of stuff on cable and even in film, but to do something on network was something I was really attracted to, just to get more of a wider range of people, just to kind of see what some of the stuff that I've been able to do, and I wanted to get in that format. But to see this type of show done, I thought if you could do this type of show and do it well, it could be groundbreaking. And when I booked the role, I wanted to meet with someone who had cerebral palsy, who also had an aide who communicated that way. And I was able to meet a young woman named Eva Sweeney, who does use a communication board and also has a part-time live-in aide who will come in and also live with her, and also goes away from time to time, but it uses a lot of the same aspects that we use in the show. And I found it fascinating, and just the relationship that they have is so close, and to be able to sometimes even you kind of anticipate what she's about to say because you guys know each other so well, and that was the kind of relationship I wanted to be able to have on Speechless. And so when I got to meet Micah, the actor who plays JJ, I wanted that relationship to be one that you could just, it was palatable. Like, my relationship with Micah, Cedric and Micah's relationship is very comparable to the one that's on the show. I really enjoy Micah as a person. He's an outstanding young fellow and really funny, and he has great questions, and he comes from a great family. And I wanted that relationship to be shown on TV. When you see us together, you're like, okay, those two belong together. It doesn't even look weird. Those guys are just homies. And so I think we've been able to use our real relationship and foster that and use that on TV.
All right. So again, the season premieres tonight at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Central. Where's the best place we can, Cedric, we can find information on you and follow you and stuff? Where can we go?
Oh, yeah, you can find me on Instagram at cedric-yarbrough, and you can also find me on Twitter at cedric-yarbrough, and, I'll tweet you back, and I'm just glad that people are really finding a cool hang on Wednesday nights on ABC just to, watch it. You can watch this stuff with your family, you can watch it with your grandparents, you can watch it with your girlfriend. It's just a funny show that people really like.
All right. Well, Cedric, great talking to you. Best of luck and continued success in your career. Thanks again for calling.
Thank you, man. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye. You're listening to The Neil Haley Show, and we'll be back in just a moment.
We're back to The Neil Haley Show on the Total Celebrity segment. I'm excited to welcome to the program comedian, celebrity Tommy-Davidson of Vacation Creation. Tommy, thanks for calling, man. And you got to be excited about season 2, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. I'm psyched.
You're living the dream, Tommy.
You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. You are living the dream, man, aren't you? You're definitely living the dream.
Is great. Yeah, traveling the world, and I'm with good people, and I wake up every 2 days or so and look off my balcony. I'm in a different country, in a different landscape. It's unbelievable, and the guests are just great to work with. It's a great show.
Absolutely, and when you heard season 2's coming, you're like, yes. Because I remember last year when we were chatting, you told me some of the places you visited last year. Tell our listeners some of the places you were last year. It was amazing, wasn't it?
Where was we last? Oh, we went to Cartagena, Panama Canal, Stonehenge, St. Petersburg, Russia, all over Italy, Mediterranean Sea, Spain, Belize.
Wow.
Oh yeah. We did it. We did it. Norway.
Wow.
Alaska.
How much did you learn in that experience last year, going to these places?
Oh, man, I learned that there's a lot of places that are easy to go to. And I hadn't said this in an interview, but cruising's easy, too. Just imagine the hotel goes with you.
Right.
So once you put your bags away in your room, your hotel goes to the other countries, as opposed to having to take the bags down to the lobby, tip again, catch a cab, get a plane, off to the next place. You can go to bed and just wake up in the other country.
That's a great sell, Tommy, because then you're not catching another plane or catching another bus or going certain places. You just wait till the cruise stops in that place. You get off, you go, enjoy, come back, and your bags are still there, and you're still in your room, and you're still ready to go. That's a great deal.
Exactly. Now you get my point.
I completely get your point, man. It makes complete sense. And what I think is so fun about the show is you're giving opportunities for families to enjoy the best vacation possible, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. And the families are like you and me. The families are just simply people who went through some situations in life where they really deserve a vacation. Some time together with their family or some time away from wherever they live just to get out and reflect and heal, too.
And what vacation does brings peace, Tommy, especially if everything is included, everything is available. You don't have to worry about, taking, let's say if you go on a beach vacation, you have to take the family to different restaurants or cook. It's all taken care of for you. Entertainment on board. It's the perfect thing to get a family to relax after tough times.
Oh, it's the best. It's the best. And we also get to, deal with whatever they're going through, too. Sit down and, talk about it. Don't sweep it under the rug. How was your experience? What pulled you through? What are some of the things that happened in the family? What dynamics changed, some real good stuff you can't get from Cake Boss.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can't get that from Shark Tank.
Yeah. Now, Tommy,
you can't get that from the government.
No, you can't. You can't. Now, Tommy, what types of stories are we going to expect this season of families and what they've gone through, especially with the show?
One of my favorites is there was 3 young ladies from Kentucky, and their sister had recently got married. And somewhere around Christmas, he's driving home from work, falls out, dead, passed away right there. Had a pre-heart condition that finally caught up to him, but nobody was thinking about, And we took them to Hawaii. We took them to the Pacific Islands, Hawaii, Samoa, all over Hawaii. I mean, we did it up for them. And just to see them together, able to heal with each other, was just a wonderful thing. That's just one.
Wow.
I mean, these stories are all like that. And they're not just about tragedy, but they're just about the human condition. For instance, that we had a father and a son on the show, and the father is a guitar player that tours and hasn't had a lot of time with his son. His son's about 11. No, his son's probably about 13. And he wrote a letter. His son wrote a letter to us. So I haven't had time with my dad. What do you think? And we took a ship from New York to England to pick him up. And we did an adventure with them. They kayaked. They did the most beautiful things. And they had their time together,
Right.
Yeah. One family that we're going to have this season had 3 daughters. The middle daughter suddenly passed away.
Oh.
And, they now have another daughter. And, they wrote us a letter and said, hey, we never really dealt with that, and that's something that has bothered the girls, and bothered us for a while. And, we're still living life as life, but a vacation show would be neat. And so that's happening actually this week.
Wow. All right. Well, it's amazing, Tommy. Again, it premiered September 30th on ABC. I know you're psyched about that as well, Tommy. What time can people tune in this week to the show?
You know what? It depends on your local, local listing. So check your local listing for Vacation Creation. It's a morning show. It's usually somewhere around 10:30, sometimes 11, anywhere from 10 to noon maybe. It varies. And if you want to see the shows that we've done, just go to YouTube, put in Vacation Creation episodes, and you can get caught on the whole last year, and then you can pick it up with us on Saturday.
It's very well done, Tommy. I mean, especially the stories about the families, but also really telling people, hey, take a vacation. If you're saving up your money, take a vacation to relax and especially cruise and travel the world like you're getting to. And I think
without sounding like selling a cruise, just being genuine, to have your family and close friends with you in close quarters for a week or so, traveling and doing different things and just hanging out together is something that you rarely get a chance to do. But these cruises are offering that opportunity, and a lot of people don't think cruises. A lot of people wait until Thanksgiving. Wait until the Christmas holiday.
Exactly. With these tough times, especially what happened in Vegas last night, Tommy, and especially it's
man.
Isn't it? It was shocking when I woke up this morning.
Yeah, and now as an antithesis to that, we have Vacation Creation. Coming out of that TV is a whole lot of negative, And I'm glad to be a part of a program that's kicking positive out of that
Absolutely.
media box.
Great. All right, so where can we follow you, Tommy? Where's the best place we can follow you? What places?
The Real Tommy Cat Instagram, tommy-davidson.net for all my schedule. Where are you?
We're out of Pittsburgh, where we're nationally syndicated, 120 plus stations, so we're all over the place and all over the world.
Okay, cool. So I'll be all over doing stand-up. I'll be in Hartford, Orlando. I'll be around.
All right.
So catch up to me. I'm around. And
okay.
Catch Vacation Creation, and you know where I am.
Absolutely.
I don't need Instagram, really. Just look at the show, and you'll say, oh, wow, he's a Grease.
Exactly, Tom. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Neil Haley Show, and I'm excited to welcome to the program Jimmy-Tatro of Netflix true crime series American Vandal. Jimmy, thanks for calling. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Fantastic, Jimmy. I tell you, it's been a whirlwind, right? From YouTube to acting. It's got to blow you away how that platform of YouTube can just catapult anybody's career when you have the right show, the right kind of audience. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really cool. It's great to have a platform where you can just really do it yourself, and I'm really happy that YouTube existed in my lifetime.
Absolutely. So let's talk about Netflix true crime series American Vandal. Let's go into specifically enough your character and then a little bit more about it.
Okay, cool. My character's name is Dylan Maxwell. He's kind of I'd say a stoner idiot skater kid. Just really not the brightest kid, doesn't make the best decisions, which really kind of is what brings this whole thing down on him. He was accused of spray painting 27 penises in the staff parking lot and was expelled from his high school based on no hard evidence. And, two sophomore documentarians basically believed he was innocent and made a documentary to set out and prove that to the world.
Yeah, Jimmy, and that's very interesting because I have previewed some of this and stuff. It's a pretty interesting series, isn't it? It takes you right down the road of seeing if you're innocent or not innocent. We don't want to bring that up, but people really get hooked by this for sure.
Yeah, it's something that definitely starts off, and I'd say everyone that watches it probably got drawn in by just the hilarity of the concept. But I think you get to a point around the middle of the season when you find yourself, stop laughing at the whole thing, and you actually are taking it very seriously, which is something that you then step back and laugh at yourself for even doing in the first place. Because I remember something similar happened when I was reading the script. I started off, I was like, this is hilarious. And then I got to episode 5, and I was like, wait, who did it? Who drew these things? I need to know.
Yeah. And what's so funny, this series seems like it's real, Jimmy. That's the funny part about this. Now, I it's so funny. I was on with a friend last week just listening to the show. I didn't get to watch it. I was listening to it. And I was just drawn into it because you just thought it was so real. And the funniness about the characters and how everyone's to blame in this process. That's why I don't want to ever give away any of it. But kids are hooked for sure on it. They really are hooked on it.
Yeah. I remember one of the things they said was, they're like, we want people to watch this for 10 minutes and then be like, and then completely think it's real and then be like, wait a second. There's no way this is real. And I think that really, I think they were successful in that. I know I have family friends. My uncle called me and was telling me one of his best friends called him and was like, hey, I thought your nephew's name was, I didn't know his name was Dylan. And also I thought he was, way out of college. I didn't realize he was, just getting out of high school. I was like, no way this guy actually thinks that Jim's nephew is actually 18.
Yeah, I mean, it's hilarious, but I think the funniest part of this whole thing is it seems so real, and I guess the further you go into the season, you see certain things. But what I crack up laughing is that you really make fun of the specific groups in high school. You know, Jimmy, you acted like you were really, really dumb in your character, meaning like, I don't care, I don't give a whatever I do. And then you bring in this other a nerd, and he basically said that he hooked up with another girl. I was just absolutely, I can't believe, I had no idea this was it, because all I did was listen to it with a friend, and I'm like, I was hooked by the show. So how has been the response? It must be really good so far, Jimmy, because, I mean, I'm getting lots of young people telling me it's a great show.
Yeah, I mean, it's been getting just an overwhelmingly positive response, which is great. I mean, I expected people to like it because I knew it was funny, and I'd read the script, I was on set, but it definitely definitely exceeded my expectations. Just as far as seeing the final product for the first time, but also just the response it's been getting. I mean, I knew kids in my age range would think it was funny, and people that were fans of Serial and Making a Murderer, but I'm hearing from my friends' parents that their friends are loving it, and people all across the board that you wouldn't usually expect to enjoy a series about investigating a penis vandalism.
Yes.
But it's really just kind of it's kind of taken off, and yeah, it's exceeded my expectations, definitely.
Absolutely, and you never know. We don't want to give anything away for sure, Jimmy, and so everyone needs to check it out now. I'm 44, and I was hooked by the third episode, and I was just listening to it. So I was basically talking to a friend, and they were listening to it in the background, Jimmy, and literally I listened and listened, and I'm like, wow, what's happening next? Where did they find this show? And I was thinking it was a real...
Wow, that's cool.
Series, because I didn't get
That's
to
cool
see
that you were listening.
All that, yeah.
So it was like you were listening to it like it was a podcast, basically, like it was like
a podcast, exactly. But it was so well done, and it made you think so much. To say, and it reminds you of the days back in high school, how you investigate things and seeing all these different things. So, Jimmy, that's the cool thing about it, is that you guys hook them in thinking it's real, then it's not, and then they figure out you, because everyone loves you, Jimmy, on YouTube, and then you bring your audience in, and you have Netflix, and guess what? This is the wave of the future, Jimmy. This is it. And I don't think everyone understands everything's going to be streamed at one point in time, and regular television and regular movies will be obsolete in 10 years. So you're on that path. You're seeing that your audience is right there for you, and you're rolling for sure. So everyone needs to check out, definitely go on Netflix and check out the show. Where's the best place you can find information on you and stuff? Where can go watch American Vandal and also learn more about you?
Well, yeah, American Vandal's on Netflix, and then if you want to check out my YouTube channel, it's youtube.com/Life According to Jimmy. I'll be putting some new videos up soon. I'm not 100% sure when, but definitely in the next couple months I'm going to start uploading again. So that's that.
Awesome. Any other new projects coming on, Jimmy, you want to tell us about with the YouTube? Anything else?
I got a movie called Action Number 1 that'll be coming out in the next few months. It's pretty funny. It's the true story I was telling you about.
Yeah.
And then a couple other projects in development. We're hopefully a couple months. So I mean, there's a lot of wheels in motion, a lot of good things happening, and really excited to just kind of keep pushing forward, pedal to the metal.
Absolutely, Jimmy. Well, it was great talking to you. It's kind of funny. I was wondering what it was and was going to take the talking points. And when you started telling the story, I said, holy cow, I've heard this. And I think it helped in the conversation for sure, from my understanding. And then to tell people, you got to watch it. I'm 44. I was hooked thinking it, reminding me of the days back in high school. And I know it's going to continue to have great success. Great success in your career, Jimmy. Thanks again for calling, and thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, take care. Thanks. All right, see you later. Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye. You're listening to The Neil Haley Show. We'll be back in just a minute.
We're back to the Neil Haley Show on the Total Celebrity segment. I'm excited to welcome the program from NBC's Superstore, Lauren Ash. Lauren, thanks for calling. How are you? And another season 3. You got to be really pumped up about that, aren't you?
I'm so excited. There's so much fun stuff coming this season. I think that, old fans of the show are going to be really happy to see the kind of new directions we're going. And I think new fans of the show are going to just love, all the extreme stuff, all the shenanigans. It's very exciting.
Yeah, and your character is hilarious. From day one, you did not want to follow the other employees' rules and regulations. You wanted to do things your way. And it kind of, your character believes, in my opinion, that you're going to do the direct opposite what everyone else does. And that's pretty much your character, isn't it, in a lot of ways?
Yeah, I think that the big thing for Dina is that she believes in, following the Cloud9 code of conduct to the letter. There's no kind of room for interpretation. There's no kind of room for humanity. She really just believes that it's even more so than what her own emotions may be telling her to do. She's like, this is just how it goes. We're in the workplace. As soon as I walk in these doors, I am just a vessel for the Cloud9 message and making sure that I uphold all of those standards. And yeah, it can be, off-putting to her coworkers for sure.
And I think Dina's your character, Lauren, and in so many ways playing Dina, even outside of work, you always want to argue and disagree with other people's viewpoints, even if it has nothing to do with work. And that's what makes that character so funny, I think.
Yeah, no, thank you. I totally agree. She really does kind of march to the beat of her own drummer in every possible way.
One thing I love when the show started, is when you guys do these little breaks in between the show where you show something funny at the Superstore. We all see these things every day when we travel to Walmarts or other types of places like Target and stuff, where you see these kind of people in the superstores just doing whatever they want to do, and that's so hilarious. You really have to pay attention to it, don't you, Lauren, when they throw those out throughout the show?
You do. And the thing that a lot of people come back with is the same thing you're saying, which is that they live for those little interstitials as much as they live for the show. It's like, on one hand, it's like you love the characters and you want to say, like, oh, what are the characters going to do this week? But then also it's like, oh, but I wonder what those little interstitials are going to be this week, because they can be either on theme with the episode or they can be completely random. And I know that, our writers, spend a lot of time coming up with, they have to come up with a lot of those ideas. And I feel like they are consistently hilarious. Every time I read the scripts, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so funny and so real. Like you're saying, we see these things in real life, which is why I think people resonate with them so much.
I think so, for sure. And then thinking about also the thing that the show brings is diversity. And in a way that's funny, a comedy with diversity. That's great because of the characters are very diverse. Just like if you go to a Walmart, you're not going to see the same type of employee. They're going to be from different backgrounds, different ages, different situations. And that's what you guys try to highlight on the show as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's I think that the cool thing is that it's kind of just happened that way. In looking at the show, the guy who created it, Justin Spitzer, who's our showrunner, he wanted to kind of create a real world, and the reality of a real world, especially in America, is that that's kind of, like you're saying, that's what those stores look like. That's, that's not just going to be one specific type of person. It's going to be all different walks of life, all ages, all races. And I think that you're right. It sets you up for a lot of opportunities, a lot of comedic opportunities, because you're having so many different points of view all in the same place. And I think that's great, especially in our break room scenes. There'll be, inevitably like 7 different conversations happening at the same time, because 7 different types of people have 7 different opinions, and I think that's what makes the show great.
And Dina doesn't get in any of the conversations because she just butts in and says, is this company protocol, or goes company line till she gets told not to do it. And that's the process of your character in so many ways.
Yeah, pretty much in general, yeah.
Now, have you had characters like this before, Lauren? Like Dina in your career in acting?
I started my career at the Second City in Toronto, which is a comedy theater there, and then I went on to the Second City in Chicago. And during my time there, I actually developed this character who is Dina. And so I used to play her, on stage for years in different sketches and improvs and stuff like that. And so when I read the script for Superstore, I was like, oh my gosh, I know her. Like, I played her for years. And so when I auditioned, I just auditioned as this character that I personally felt I knew inside and out. And they agreed with me and gave me the part, which is great. So it's pretty amazing to have a character that you played live on stage literally a decade ago now performing live on international television, on prime time, on a network. It's a pretty surreal, amazing journey for me as a performer.
Especially as a comedian, because we know how many comedians want an opportunity like you got, Lauren, and you're taking it, and that's such a great thing for sure. Now, how about the social media connections, you reaching out to different people, especially your fans, talking about, hey, this episode really resonated with me because I work at Walmart, or I work at Target, or I work at, I remember those kind of company days where we're in the break room. Have you had those conversations on social media with people?
Constantly. It's amazing. There's a lot of love for our show, which is so wonderful, and we love interacting with people. But I would say pretty much daily I will get a message on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, and it's basically people saying that it's like, this reminds me of, either they worked in one of those stores or they currently work in one of those stores, or they just work in, not that exact kind of workplace, but they can relate to the dynamics and the corporate stuff and just the different personalities that come along with working in an office of a lot of people. And so it's always great when you have people who, currently are working in those stores telling you, like, yes, you're doing it, you're capturing it, you're bang on. It definitely feels like it's great because we're obviously going in the right direction. So it's always lovely to get those messages.
NBC Thursday night is going to be a really exciting Thursday night lineup, and I know you're excited to be part of this lineup, aren't you, Lauren? Especially what's happening coming up.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's amazing. Will and Grace is back. I mean, that's pretty fantastic. And we also have Good Place. It's an amazing show and great news. I mean, it's a great 2-hour comedy block. I don't want to use the term must-see TV, but I feel like it applies.
Hey, you guys can bring it back. Now, you add this lineup, and it gets really going. Hey, you're back to the history of the days of Thursday nights must-see TV on NBC. So, hey, that's the goal, and that's the idea. So you guys could be on like certain stories, and then someday be on CNN's story like the 80s and 90s about comedy. So you never know, especially because this is groundbreaking when you're talking about something like a Superstore. So again, everyone needs to tune in at 8 p.m. Eastern Thursday night to NBC Superstore. And where can we follow you, Lauren, social media-wise?
You can follow me on Twitter at Lauren_Ash. You can follow me on Instagram at Lauren Elizabeth Ash, and on Facebook at Lauren Ash Actress. Those were the only things available to me when I made the account. I wish they were all the same name.
It's very difficult to change it, but good talking to you, Lauren. Best of luck and continued success with your career. Thanks. Take care. All right. Bye-bye. You're listening to The Neil Haley Show. We'll be back in just a moment.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to The Neil Haley Show on the Total Celebrity segment. And I'm excited about this guest. This is going to be interesting. From Travel Channel's Expedition Unknown, Hunt for Extraterrestrials, I'm excited to welcome the program Josh Gates. Josh, thanks for calling. How are you?
Hey, I'm great, man. How you doing?
Fantastic, Josh. Now, let's see how you got involved with extraterrestrials before we get into this show. Have you always been interested in this subject?
I have, actually. I grew up as kind of a sci-fi geek. I was obsessed with Star Trek. I think I've seen every episode of the original series and Next Generation, probably. I loved sci-fi books. I loved Ray Bradbury. I loved Twilight Zone, all that stuff. So I always loved this stuff growing up, and I think like a lot of people, actually I think like everybody, I have certainly spent some time thinking about this question of are we alone in the universe? I don't think there's a person in the world that hasn't looked up at the stars and thought, what's really out there, you know? So for me, I've always had a fascination with this.
Very interesting. And so you were fascinated. You thought this is a really interesting topic, but you wouldn't call yourself a scientist in this way of embarking on this journey. So what kind of got you involved with Travel Channel to go out and look for evidence of extraterrestrial life?
Well, you know, the show that I host for Travel Channel, Expedition Unknown, is all about just that. It's about exploring the unknown. Our show normally takes us around the world investigating archaeological mysteries, legends, you know, buried treasures, lost cities, things like that. And this was an opportunity for us to explore the unknown kind of, instead of underneath our feet, up in the heavens, you know. And so what we did is we put together a big 4-part special, so this is 4 one-hour shows, where we literally travel around the world. We traveled more than 50,000 miles to 4 continents to make this show. And we wanted to ask this question, are we alone in the universe, in a lot of different ways. So we met with the world's leading scientists. We met with astronauts. We actually spoke to astronauts in orbit up in the space station. We went and visited some of the most cool, badass, giant telescopes in the world that are looking for life out in the universe. And we met with eyewitnesses. We met with people who claim they've had personal encounters. And so we really span the globe trying to attack this question from a lot of different sides and to really see what's out there, what's real, what's nonsense, and, you know, could there really be life out in the universe?
How many people believe there is, Josh, when you go and search and look for these experts and search for them? How many do you think are out there?
Yeah. I mean, look, I think the most surprising thing for me that came out of these specials is how many scientists really believe. Some of the brightest minds on the planet really now are coming to a consensus that there probably is life out in the universe somewhere. You know, 20 years ago, I think we thought that planets like Earth, which have an atmosphere, which have a certain amount of gravity, which are a certain distance from a star, I think we thought that planets like ours were very rare. And I think the thing that we're learning more and more is that planets like Earth may be very common. Now, that doesn't mean there's going to be life on all of them. But I think scientists are now starting to get to the point where they're realizing that it would be weirder if there was no life in the universe than if there was.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't have thought about that as well. And you're uncovering things. Are you a believer after shooting these without watching it?
I think I came. Yeah, I came out the other side of this believing that there's life in the universe. I think I went into it open-minded, kind of hoping that I would believe that, because again, I love the subject material. And having met with these scientists, having met with these astronomers around the world, I certainly am in the camp of people now who believes that there's life out there. Now, the second question, has that life visited Earth? Has it been here? Are there UFOs flying around above us? That's a much harder question, and it's one that I was much more skeptical about. I have to say that we met a lot of people on this show that really gave me pause, you know, eyewitnesses who had incredible stories that I could not explain. So I'm left with a lot of questions myself, but there's some really amazing evidence in the show that really stopped me in my tracks, and so I'm excited for people to see that.
And you're also going to have a new audience of fans, Josh, because of people that are into extraterrestrials. There are lots of people fans of the Travel Channel, but people that might turn on the Travel Channel now because of their extraterrestrial interest. That's going to be an interesting thing, engaging with them social media-wise and different things throughout these 4 episodes.
For sure, and we're really excited about that too. You know, I mean, there is a really passionate audience for this, and there are people who have really strong opinions about this question, and so we're excited to have those folks watch the show. We're excited to hear their thoughts and excited to, you know, continue this conversation, because I think it is a really important and really cool conversation.
It definitely is a cool conversation. It's something that people have to think about in certain ways. What would you say your favorite place of traveling these 4-part series? What place did you enjoy the most in travel? Could you say there was I think
Yeah, I think one of the most interesting places we went to was Zimbabwe in Africa. It's a country that I had not visited before. It's a beautiful country, incredible wildlife, incredible natural, places to visit there. Victoria Falls, absolutely stunning place there. So, that was one of the, I think, most beautiful places that we visited, but it also was one of the most interesting parts of the trip because we went to meet with a group of eyewitnesses there, students at a school who had a mass sighting where almost 100 kids saw the same thing. They saw some sort of unidentifiable craft at their school. Their story is incredibly compelling because it was witnessed by so many people. So, hearing their testimony, getting these students together in a room, listening to what they have to say was a really cool part of the trip, and it's actually kind of a spine-tingling moment on the show. So I'm excited for folks to see that too.
Well, that sounds really, really cool to see that, and that people did have these sightings, and that in a lot of ways, Josh, you can't say that they're wrong about this. So that's the exciting part for this. So again, everyone needs to tune in. Expedition Unknown, Hunt for Extraterrestrials premieres Wednesday, October 4th at 9 p.m. Eastern, and then after it, there's something else going on as well, right? Not after the hour episode. Is that correct?
Yeah. After each episode airs, there's a 1-hour roundtable discussion. We've got our crew. We have a UFO expert, a really respected guy who's been writing about this for a long time. And it's kind of a 1-hour roundtable discussion after each show where you're going to see answers to some of the evidence we collected, exclusive footage, behind-the-scenes stuff, some bloopers, some arguments, us kind of getting into this a little bit deeper. So it's a cool opportunity to take a deeper dive into each show.
Absolutely, and people can connect with Josh on your Instagram and Twitter. Where are the best places we can find you? Where can we go?
You can find me on Twitter at Joshua Gates. You can find me on Instagram at Gatesygram, and you can find me on Facebook at Josh Gates Official.
All right, well,
or
good
official
talking,
Josh Gates.
Josh.
One of the two. Look me up.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I tell you, it's exciting. People definitely need to tune in. If they're UFO fans, they're travel fans, because you're going to educate them both on travel and also a search for extraterrestrials. So thanks again for calling, and take care. Thanks again for taking the time, Josh.
Yeah, all the best. Thanks, man.
Take care. Okay, bye-bye. You're listening to the Neil Haley Show, and we'll be back in just a moment.